So here we have the Enermax Naxn or Naxn power supply. This is a 550 watt version, 3-year warranty. I got this for as a pretty good deal. Here's the specs of it. Not much going on the outside. The box is quite nice looking, but other than that, this is what we have on the back. So claims that it's more of a silent, power efficient version. It is not 80 plus, but nonetheless, I don't really need that efficient of a power supply for the system that this is going into. Usually I would recommend buying a Corsair brand or something like that if you're doing a high-end setup, but it seems that Enermax are making pretty nice products. I grabbed this one for a really cheap price, and never experienced the brand before. It's got quite a lot of weight to it, so let's see what's inside. That is quite a nice presentation. So here we have our user guide. Over here we have our typical power plug and some screws to fasten it to the back of the case. And right here is the actual power supply itself. If I can get it out of the box, so that box killing me. There we go. So here are your braided cables. Now these are not sleeved. They don't appear to be like they're going to be difficult to sleeve, but for what I need, I mean the power supply that I'm replacing is sleeved, but in everything it's all nice. It's a BFG Tech, but its warranty has run out. It's loud as hell. So the main 24 pin, and it looks like, I think that's just the 24 pin maybe? Well, let's find out. Some of these are sleeved, some of them are not. And at the price point that I paid, which was $40, I really don't really care, so long as it's really reliable. So here's our 24 pin connector, and that is sleeved. Looks like we have another cable here that's going to be sleeved. This is probably our 4+4 for our power, for our CPU power. Let's see. Indeed it is. So there's 2 sleeved cables. Those are pretty nice looking. Here's the rest of your stuff. Let's see. There's probably an easier way to do this. Let's see. Molex connectors here. This is your floppy 4-pin connector. Yeah, not so much floppy, but people probably aren't using floppies, but rather media card readers. Here is your SATA and a Molex PCI Express connector. I believe this has 2 of them, yes. Here's a 6+2. So here's your 8-pin connector. Let's see what the power supply itself actually looks like here. So here I have the power supply out of its crazy packaging. Here's what we see. So on this side, just your typical, what you'd expect. What's nice here is they've paid attention to people that are going to mount this power supply in a bottom mounted case. So if you want the power supply fan grill facing upwards, this label is correctly applied, and if you want it facing down and sucking air from the bottom, they paid attention there as well. So that's kind of a nice touch for the price point. Again, here's the specs. I don't like this. I don't like split 12-volt rails, but for what I paid for it, I don't really care. Anyway, guys, so here's an idea of what it'll look like installed. I mounted mine with the fan facing down, although that might change in the future. So the cable's braided back there. A lot of them are tucked back here, so it'll connect up to the fans and everything else. That's probably the only eyesore, really, that can be sleeved, but I'm not going to bother at the moment, because, I mean, if I'm using bright orange SATA cables still, that's kind of not important. Just for one more perspective, here's what it'll look like inside the case. This is a Cooler Master Elite 430.